Hello everyone, this is Tanya Saini and welcome to this English podcast episode number 2 where I'm going to talk about Bhagwat Geeta. So what's in Bhagwat Geeta? Why people says that if you open any page of this book and you will get your answer? So here's the reason I'm going to discuss today. Let's remove the religion aspect from Bhagwat Geeta totally. It's simply an instruction manual on how to live human life. It's a book which gives you the way to live. And the setting of Bhagwat Geeta is the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Mahabharata, where Arjun was confused and started doubting whether killing and destroying his own clan just for the sake of kingdom is right or not. And because of these doubts, he refused to fight and asked Krishna to guide him the right path. So, Krishna becomes his mentor and gives him guidance in a way that he can now start doing what is meant to do right. So, every young man or a lady is going to have self-doubts and have confusions, and every person is going to have those dilemmas. To do or not to do, to be or not to be. So that's exactly how the Gita begins. It begins with doubts. It begins with dilemma. It begins with lack of meaning. And then Krishna guides and empowers Arjun to make his own choices. Krishna only acts like a facilitator and empowers Arjun to understand that he is way too more powerful than the people is going to face in the battle. And likewise, in our life, every young man or a lady needs to understand that they are way more powerful than what they are going through at the moment. That their confusions, doubts are smaller than them. Their challenges are smaller than them. Their problems are smaller than them. Their heartbreaks, as painful as they are, but are still smaller than them. And they have that capacity to overcome those pains they are going through. So that's precisely where books like the Gita helps a lot. Because they build in you that sense of confidence and strength that I have the power to overcome everything that's going on in my life. And I have the power to be able to make that difference and that impact. Now, I would like to share or reference 2 lessons from the Bhagwat Gita with you all. One of the lesson is from the 2nd chapter of the Gita, which talks about tolerance. Like, the summer and the winter season keeps coming and going every year. Seasons change. And just because seasons change, we never stop performing our duties. For example, it's New Jersey and the temperature is minus 27 degrees Celsius. And a doctor has to see his patient in an emergency. He will definitely go, irrespective of weather, means people don't stop their work still. And let's say it's Delhi and it's 43 degrees Celsius. People are still on and going on with their day-to-day life with a few adjustments here and there, obviously. So this text of Gita, chapter 2, tells us that we have to learn to tolerate the ups and downs and not be distracted from what our main purpose is like. When we talk about tolerating failures and pains, it's fine, we can understand. But we also have to learn to tolerate our success and the good times because both distracts us. Usually, we look at the negative as a distraction, but sometimes even the positive also distracts us. Now, the second thing of Gita is how do we start looking at the presence of divinity everywhere? And in every aspect we don't have to necessarily go to a place of worship to look at the presence of divinity. Even you can look at the presence of divinity in nature. You can look at the presence of divinity in other people. You can start looking at the splendor of the creator or the creation, or you can start looking at the splendor, the creator in the creation. For example, when you look at somebody who is better than you, and especially if they are in the same field, usually there's insecurity. I have seen people like that this guy is doing better than me in what I am doing, or there's envy, jealousy kind of, and it happens all the time. So, when you start looking at divinity in creation, you start looking at how divinity has empowered somebody to do something in a special way. That person has been gifted by higher powers, and to sabotage that person's work, or to be envious about the person, or feeling insecure means actually insulting somebody who is given that gift. But if I look at that person and derive inspiration from that person, I can seek that inspiration to follow my aspiration. So that aspect of Gita also really resonates, that you start looking at the divinity everywhere and in every place around you, including people who are doing better, because it's not them you can see straight away. Very often even we see people who do remarkable stuff, and usually when they speak they say it's they doing it, and of course they are doing it, we all know, no doubt that there's a part that they are doing, but you can tell that there's something beyond them that's kind of waking them to do it. Whether it's acting, speaking, singing, something, an element which is not necessarily effort, not their effort, something called X factor, I would say. And when you start appreciating that X factor as divinity, that something really connects. Thanks everyone for listening to my podcast.